Hey, Nancy. Can you hear me? Hi, Diana. Hi, Linda. Just going to hit the record button so I don't forget. Okay. Oh, look at everybody's coming in. Hi, everybody. Texas, San Diego, Oklahoma, sunny Florida. Hi, Kim. California, sunny PA. Yeah, definitely. Adirondacks. Oh, nice. Good morning to all of you. Actually, for me, it's good afternoon. Well, in less than a minute, it'll be good afternoon. Hi, Nancy from the UK. Thank you. Oh, good. This is great. More from Florida, St. Louis. Let's see. Okay, good. The sound is good. Okay, we'll give everybody a minute. It's just noon Eastern time, so this is going to be fun. Good morning from Denmark. Good morning. Ottawa, great. Texas. Thanks for all joining. Denver, hello. I have a niece and her husband out in Denver. This is great. Okay, well, just as a little warning, I did this technique for the first time, and because typically with zipper insertions, I usually do a straight insertion, and I'll show you that on my tablet case. Hi, Angela. The Canadian from Israel. Are you in Israel now or in Canada? Portland, Oregon. My springtime allergies are in full swing here. Okay. Give everybody another minute. Okay, well, I'll start with getting my little disclaimer out of the way that you hear me say before I start every class. And that is that I am a Bernina ambassador, but not employed by Bernina, and I don't receive any commission on sales of machines or software. But it is National Serger Month, as you know. April is every year, and so there are great deals on Sergers, and also sewing machines, software. There are good deals on everything. But if you are in the market for one, prior to making your purchase, shoot me an email with your mailing address on, and I will be happy to send you an ambassador coupon. And this is a thank you from Bernina Corporate, Bernina of America. This is only good in the United States because it is a thank you from Bernina of America. And it's a thank you for purchasing the machine, obviously, or software. And that goes for Burnett's as well. Any purchase $1,000 and up of a new machine or software is eligible for that rebate coupon. And it's a thank you for supporting your dealer, for making the purchase, for watching my videos, and just being all around wonderful people. So I'm just looking at everybody coming in. Okay, I am doing well, Debbie. Thank you for asking. Okay, so just a few other things before we get started. In April, if you are thinking about buying a thread fusion stand for blending your threads together, if you've purchased a class or classes with a value of $50 and up from me, if you use the code THREADS 20, the number 20, and all uppercase on threads, you'll get 20% off of your Thread Fusion purchase. So that's a great savings. And Mother's Day is right around the corner, and all kinds of graduation things and other celebrations are looming close at hand. So it makes a great gift. See, how's everybody doing, Kimmy? Yeah, I am doing well, thank you. Okay, so also let me just tell you where I'll be for the next few events. May 1st and 2nd, I will be doing an event at 35th Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona. That should be really fun. I've been there a bunch of times. I love the people there. May 19th, I am doing a presentation for the Rhode Island Sewing Network. I think that is at the Warwick Arts Center. June 11th and 12th, I'll be in Geneva, Illinois at Creative Sewing for an event. So that will catch you up for May and part of June. So if you're in any of those areas, I'd love for you to see and come visit and be part of that fun. So anyway, I don't think I have anything else to mention. I know a lot of people have been interested in my not my Trim Bin Plus, but it's on my machine. This is by Barbara Goldcorn and Ron Goldcorn. And so this is a great little thing, and you can see in this little removable container, I keep my seam guide and some of my clips as I'm using them and can throw them in, and then my little scraps of fabric and thread as I'm stitching fall in this part. So it's a great thing. And what you're going to do is email Barbara at it's Barbara at Cutting Edge Serger Designs, and she will take care of you for that. Her website is Cutting Edge Serger Designs, but I don't know if you can make the purchase yet through the website. So if you contact her directly, Barbara at Cutting Edge Serger Designs, that'll get you in touch with her, to purchase that. Let me just take a sip of water before we get going. Good. Believe it or not, it's already almost 80 degrees here, which is highly unusual for April. But I'm not saying, oh, you'd love to have me do an event at Above and Beyond Sewing in Denver. Yeah, well, mention it to them, and if we can make it work calendar-wise for both of us, I'd love to go out too, and I could probably see my niece and her husband. Okay, so I think I've given everybody enough time to kind of get in, and if you're not catching it live, you can watch it. It's always recorded automatically to my YouTube channel, so that makes it convenient for you, and to kind of rewatch and see how this technique is done. Now, this technique about turning a corner with a zipper, kind of the way your luggage unzips, and a lot of purses as well that go around a corner. This suggestion came from a viewer. So if you have ideas, or there is something you'd like to see, or you've tried something and haven't been super successful with it, shoot me an email and I'll try to help you with that, and we can do it on a future Serger Savvy. And I will say, I had never done this technique before either. And this was my first attempt going around a corner. And I wouldn't say those corners are spectacular, but as with everything, anytime I don't get a good result, it teaches me a lot. And so hopefully I can make some suggestions for you if you're looking to make purses, what else? Oh, cushion covers. I mentioned that in the introduction online, or the little blurb about this. This is a great time if you're thinking about recovering patio furniture cushions, or on your deck, or anything else. And they do get faded out, they get dirty, they get tired. I know we have a lot of trees around us, so stuff that falls from the trees sometimes can stain those. And most of those outdoor furniture fabrics do have a stain guard on them, but even still, it's not a 100% guarantee that it's going to look pristine from year to year. So this is a great way to do this. And the other nice thing about being able to open a zipper, not just on one side, but to go around, is it gives you a much wider ability to get, especially for furniture, to get big foam cushions or existing cushions in, and you're not fighting with the fabric to squish it in. So there's a lot of advantages to using this technique. Typically, this is my tablet case. This is one of them. And typically, I do a zipper insertion that's just straight across. So as I said, I learned a lot on this, and so hopefully I can pass this along to you. Hello from South Africa. Thanks for joining. So what I'm going to do is, when I did that first attempt, when I do a zipper insertion, and I've done this for a lot of events at dealers, when I do the first edge of the zipper insertion, I do it with the zipper closed. And so that's what I tried on going around the corner. And what I found that if you keep the zipper closed, trying to turn the corner and bend the zipper with both sets of teeth there, it's not very flexible and you don't get a great result. That's why this corner looks like this. So I'm always willing to share different things that have not gone right for me, but that have taught me something. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do a small mock-up because it's easier to handle on a camera, is I've just got this rectangle. We're going to pretend this is either a cushion or a bag cover or whatever. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. But instead of having the zipper closed on the first go around with it, I opened up the zipper and I found that it was much more flexible and easy to maneuver around the corner. So, and this is putting this in with a 4-thread overlock stitch and using my piping foot. And whether you've got a Bernina or a Baby Lock or Juki, Viking, Janome, I think most of the machine brands do have a piping foot. The one I'm using today is the C16L, which is the 5mm piping foot. But honestly, because I'm only doing one, I have the zipper open and only one side of the zipper teeth are in the in that little tunnel or channel under the foot, and we'll take a look at that under the close-up camera so that you can see it. It makes it very easy to get a very nice, accurate insertion with that. And the 4-thread overlock is a very strong stitch for insertion, especially on a bag or cushion covers or anything upholstery, even using it for a pillow, to cover a pillow, because that's something that you may be opening and closing. And especially on cushions, you want a nice snug fit. So you want an insertion on your zipper that's going to hold up to that tight fit. It's almost the same idea as if you were putting a zipper into a topper dress that was something kind of loose and flowy versus something very, very snugly or snug or close to the body fit, where you're going to bend and stretch and there may be some stress on the seams. So a 4-thread overlock is great. Another one that you could use, and you'd have to probably modify the technique a little bit, would be a cover stitch, like a triple cover stitch or a narrow cover stitch, which also is extremely strong, because if you think about when you put your zippers in on your sewing machine, what do you have? You have one needle thread and one bobbin thread. And you may go over something a couple of times, stitch across it a couple of times. But with your serger, you've got, and a 4-thread overlock, you've got those 2 needle threads in there automatically, plus the upper and lower looper threads. So again, you've got a lot of thread holding that in. So I'm going to take my presser foot off of the machine, and I'm just wondering whether I could even use my C16 small, but we're not going to worry about it. I think I'll let you know if I do and if it works really well, because it's always good to have this information. So let me change cameras. Now, let me bring the camera in just a little, or a lot closer actually. There we go. Okay, so this is a clear foot. You can see it says C16L on the Bernina L8 series. Anything with the C is designated for the 890. If I were doing this technique on the L860, which is an overlock only machine, instead of the C before the 16, I'd have an L. Okay, and L, this L means large. There's another one that is the S with the smaller channel. Let's take a look at that. This channel is 5 millimeters wide. And I have said this in all of my Serger specialty feet classes, as well as sewing machine classes, that the machine companies always have to name a foot. If it's a specialty foot, whether it's a piping foot, a blind hem foot, whatever it is. But that does not mean that's all it can do. Most of these feet can multitask for a number of different techniques, and putting in a zipper with a piping foot is a perfect example of it. So this is the channel, and let me flip it under, and the channel goes from front to back all the way down, and it acts like a tunnel. And let me just, I'm going to take the zipper off of this fabric so that I can show this to you. I'm going to close it up and just show you. If I put the zipper closed, as I said, that's the way I usually start on a straight edge insertion for a zipper. But I can let the teeth of that zipper ride right along, and it's almost like a choo-choo train going through a tunnel. And the tunnel or the channel on the foot will trap those teeth in there and make the insertion very even and accurate. And even, you'll see me turn it over, and because I'm going to put right sides together with the zipper, even when I turn it upside down, the pressure of when I drop the presser foot lever down still can feel those teeth underneath and travel all the way down. Now, as I mentioned, instead of having the foot or the zipper closed on that first pass, I'm going to have it open. And so what I'm going to do, and this is why I tend to think my narrower presser foot would work very nice, or narrower piping foot would work very well, is I'm going to let the tunnel or let the zipper teeth travel, and I want them to hug the left side of the channel on the foot. It would almost be the same thing as if you're driving through a tunnel that's 2 lanes. Your car is in the left-hand lane, and you're kind of hugging that left edge of the tunnel. That's the exact same thing that I'm going to do with those zipper teeth. And the reason being is that I don't want the stitching so close to the zipper teeth that when I go to zip it up, they get hung up and caught on the stitching itself because it's too close to the teeth. And you know yourself, if you've ever done that on a zipper, on a skirt or a dress with a zipper in it, if you stitched accidentally too close to it, and you could get the zipper part way up and then you hit that part where you're too close to the teeth, and it's really hard to get it to go past that, or it just won't do it at all. It's annoying. So I'm going to keep that farther away. Also, I've mentioned that the 890 and the 860 both have a maximum stitch width from left to right. We're not talking stitch length. Stitch width from left to right is 9 millimeters. Do I want that wide a stitch on zipper tape? No, I don't, because I think that'll eat up the whole zipper tape and, again, get the stitching too close to the zipper teeth for comfort for me. So I'm going to bring my stitch width dial, which is also the cutting width dial on my machine. I'm bringing that down to 5. So it's a narrower 4-thread overlock stitch. Is it as strong as the 9 millimeter stitch? Absolutely, because it's got all of the same components in it. It's got the 2 needle threads, the upper looper, the lower looper. It's just skinny down. And so that will give me enough wiggle room between the zipper teeth and the stitching to make sure I don't get hung up, hopefully. So as I said, I've only done this one other time before just to test it out, and it was a learning experience for me. So hopefully it will be for you too, and that will all do fine. So let me just go back to my close-up camera. Are there any questions at all before I get started? Let me ask that. I don't see anybody. Let me just make sure. No, I don't see anything in here. Okay, so let me go to my close-up camera and show you how I'm going to set this up. Now, as I said, this is just a mock-up. I'm using quilting weight cotton, and I did interface it with the OESD Fusion fleece, which is a very lightweight, low loft fleece. And I like it. It gives the fabric body. You could also do it, use a nice interfacing, a fusible interfacing as well. And I think that will give you a good finish too. But if I were doing this on a cushion, I think I would like the body of having that fusible fleece that's low loft on this. And I think it'll smooth out if there are any irregularities or anything else on the cushion, foam or whatever. It will kind of mask that. So what I'm going to do, and let me go, I'm going to put my second side over here. I'm going to go back to that camera. Okay, so, and let me bring my camera out a little bit more so that you have a better view of what I'm doing. So this is my long side, and it doesn't really matter. It just depends. We could call this like the top of the cushion, that the center of the cushion. So I had the zipper open already, and I am going to put it right sides together. The right side of my zipper is face down. Here's the right side up here. I'm flipping it over, and I'm going to start it kind of at the center of the fabric, and I'm going to align the edge of the zipper tape with the raw edge of that fabric. And I'm just going to get a clip in here just to get this going. And as I go around and go to turn this corner, this is very much like inserting piping on a cushion cover or a pillow or whatever, where I'm going to have to stop, make a few clips, and in fact, I can even do it ahead of time. And on your zipper, I think, let me see if I can grab a stiletto to show you. Okay. you can see, and most zippers have this. This is a number 3 dress weight zipper. You see this little line that goes along in the weaving of that zipper tape. What I'm going to do is make a few clips in the zipper tape up to that point. It's not going to hurt the zipper at all. It's not going to be too close to the teeth. But what it's going to do is allow me to easily bend the zipper and be able to get it around the corner. So let me do that right so that you can see that. And so I've got my Kai scissors, and I'm going to make a few. Here's 3, 4, 5, 6. And depending on the zipper tape that you're using, you may need fewer or more clips as you go around. But you're going to see, I think I need to make them a smidge deeper. Hang on a second. There. I think I was a little bit shy on that. And when I go to stitch, am I going to trim off part of the zipper tape? Yes, my knife is activated. But you can see that this is going to let me pretty well turn the corner, and I have to hang on to this very nicely, and I'm going to get a much smoother corner than I did on my first try with the zipper closed. It just is doubling the flexibility of the zipper itself. So let's switch and go over to the machine. And I'm going to have to do this again as I go around the other edge of, or the other corner too. So I'll just stop on, while I have it on the machine probably, and do that. So let's go to that. And I got to put my presser foot on. That usually helps a lot. And I have a kind of a turquoisey thread in so that you can see it a little more easily. It's got a little more contrast to the zipper itself. Let me give you my setup too. Let's go to the screen. Oops, I think I bumped this out of position. Okay, so you can see I've got a 4-thread overlock stitch. It's stitch number 1 on my machine. Now, the right needle, upper looper, and lower looper, I've left the tensions on the default setting. On the left needle, the one that forms the seam between the zipper and the fabric, I've cranked that tension up to 6.1 because I'm going through multiple layers. I've got the fusible fleece on the wrong side of the fabric. I've got the fabric itself and the zipper tape. And oftentimes, and upholstery fabric is a perfect example, heavy denim, corduroy, anything that's really thick and has or multiple layers. If you have ladders in your seams, when you turn it right side out and turn it over and press it, and you can see little ladders that make the stitch look loose, it's because the needle that formed the seam needs to be snugged up as far as the tension goes. And but if you have a machine that does not have tension adjustments, what you would do is go to your sewing machine and just run the needle and the stitching right along the stitching of that left needle thread that you used on the serger, and that will tighten that up. And you may even want to snug up your sewing machine one, but again, you're going to test it, okay? But because I can adjust my tensions on my machine, I don't have to do that second step. I brought my stitch length to 3.0. I probably could have left it at 2.5, which I often do, but I just brought it up to 3.0 just to make sure it travels through. Also, the other thing that I'm using is my little height compensation tool. And if you don't have one of these, also AKA hump jumper. I think years ago there was a company that had a hump jumper that they called a Gina-majig, same thing. But even if you don't have something like this, if you took a piece of scrap fabric and kind of wadded it up into a few layers, the reason I'm doing that is so that when I start, my foot stays level. I won't have the toe of the foot and the heel like a seesaw, where the heel of the foot is down low and you don't get a good stitch quality until the foot levels out again. So, okay, so let's go. Any questions about that, please? Oh, the piping foot. Okay, the question was, what size is the piping foot? Today I'm using the 5mm one, but as I said, and actually let me grab the small just to see if it works. That one is a 3mm, and because I'm using the zipper open with only one side of the zipper teeth in that channel, I have a feeling that the 3mm will work. Hang on just a second, and I'm going to grab that so that we can test it and find out together. Okay, so let's show you the difference between the two of these. I've got enough time to do this. Okay, so I'm going to take this one back off so that we can compare it up close, and you'll see the difference. Okay, let me just go back to the other camera. Okay, so here, I'm going to put them face to face so that you can see the difference. Here's the narrow one with that narrower channel that's only 3mm. Here's the C16L with that 5mm channel. Now, let me take this off and let's do the same test with the C16S, because this is a great thing for me to know too. Yes, it'll ride right along. And in some ways, it may be more accurate because the zipper teeth are kind of using up the whole amount of space in there. So I don't have to just keep moving it and making sure it stays on the left-hand side of the 5mm one, just like this. It can't wander right or left with the C16S foot. You can see it riding just like that. So actually, let's use that one instead on the machine. But again, if you only have one and it is a narrower foot or a wider one, you can definitely use it. Just be careful and make sure that you are keeping that to the left in that channel. Just stay in, it's like driving in the left-hand lane, as I said before. So I have my zipper right sides together. This is a good little review, right sides together. And the raw edge and the zipper tape edge are even with each other. Here are my little clips that are going to help me go around the corner right down here. So I think we're ready to go back to the machine. This is great. And I'm going to put that C16S, the 3mm one, on my machine. Okay. So, and I think I'll lighten that up just a smidge. I think that's a little bit better without glaring. Okay, so let's see how and actually inserting it and getting it going is really the trickiest part of this whole thing. And that's why I like to keep a clip in it, just to hold it in place. And I know my little clips that I made with the scissors are going to be right on the corner. So I'm getting this in. Now, with the zipper tape open, I don't have to worry about the zipper pull. And hopefully, let me just move this down. Let me move my clip down just a little bit. I think I should be okay, and I gotta get that, where's my stiletto? Let's bring this over to the edge so it's nice and straight. When I put this down, do you see what I mean about it trapping those teeth? So now it's going to keep that edge where I want it to be. So I think we're ready to get started. Maybe if I move this out, no, I think I'll leave it where it is. Okay, so let's get started. Stitch length 3.0, 4 thread overlock. Left needle thread is, the tension is cranked up to 6.1. Now my knife is active, and I'm going to trim off a little bit of the zipper tape and a little bit of the fabric and fleece as well. Is it a problem? Not at all. And once I get going, then I can take that clip out. And you want to take your time just to make sure everything is staying where you want it to stay. And what I'm going to do as I get down here, and I kind of wait until I am pretty close with the needle to start bringing this around, just so that I know it's where I want it to be. Keep that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch right off of the fabric, and I'm going to start again, because I have found that I get a better result with that. But maybe I don't know. Let's experiment a little bit. Let's go do it one way on one corner and then a second way on the other corner. Okay, so I've got that. Now, the other thing that I like to do right away is I like to make sure that I cut off those threads that are at the beginning, simply because I don't want them getting hung up in the teeth. And so far, so good. It looks great. Now, I'm turning the corner, and my clips are helping me out. I'm aligning that second edge with the second edge of the fabric. I'm going to raise my presser foot, bring it in. I am going to start with that, the zipper teeth are in the foot, and let me grab, this is where my little hump jumper or height compensation tool comes in handy, because when you're turning the corner, it sort of bunches up those zipper teeth and makes it a little bit higher. And I'm going to do it in a less characteristic way. I'm putting it in sideways. I could go in just like this. This is for the overlock side, this height compensation tool. But I think this will actually be a little bit easier for me to do. Just to put it down. And now my foot is nice and level. I don't have a view from the side to show you, but take my word for it, it is level. Now, one other thing with the plastic hump jumpers or height compensation tools is, once you get past it and it goes flying, it can startle you because it kind of makes a bang. And I'm getting a little bit of flashing on my camera. Is anybody else seeing that? I don't have any idea why it's doing that. That's very odd. Linda is saying, is there a reason why I leave the knife active? Yes, because I've got my stitch width dial down to 5. My fabric is over, and I do want to trim off just a little bit of that excess if you wanted to try it without the knife up, you can, but you always have to be super careful. Oh, that's so annoying, that flashing. I don't know why it's doing that. But if you want to try it with that, you always have to be aware that in overlock mode with that, let me go back to me for a second, because this is a very important question. You have to remember that in overlock mode, you've got that upper looper that is coming up. It goes left and right in an arc, and it's going over the top of the fabric. And that's what's forming the upper looper loops on the upper or top side of your fabric. And the risk that you run, and this is anybody, that if you don't have the knife active, is that if your fabric got tangled in that upper looper, you could bend the looper, and there's no unbending it. That's when you have to take it over to the technician, have the looper replaced. And it's not an inexpensive part to replace either. But if you feel pretty confident about making sure that you can control the fabric and that you're very aware of where the edge of the fabric is in relation to those loopers and going slowly, that isn't going to be a problem for you. But I'm always reluctant to say, yes, you can put the knife down, because I don't want anyone to say, oh, yes, you said you could do that and you didn't warn me about the looper and getting fabric tangled. That is a definite thing to consider with that. So, but again, if you're pretty confident of handling your fabric and you're pretty confident with your serger and you want the knife down, you can do it. Kim is saying, and Linda says, yes, it is flashing. Now it's not doing it. I don't know why it was doing that before. I don't know whether if somebody's working on lines outside. I apologize, because there's nothing I could, it wasn't doing that earlier when I was testing everything. Okay, so let's just ignore it and go back to the foot. Okay, so now I'm going around the corner. You can see my little clips have really helped me get the corner kind of nice looking. And with that C16S foot, the 3 millimeter, those teeth are riding right along where they belong. So let's do this. We're doing pretty well time-wise, I think. We'll be able to get both sides done. And I'm going to help it get over that hump a little bit. There we go. Okay, now my hump jumper, I don't need that anymore. Okay. And you can see it's trimming off maybe about 1/8 of an inch of fabric, not a lot. And zipper tape, no big deal. Okay, now rather than take this out and have to reposition it, while I'm getting pretty close to the corners, I'm going to make my snips right here. And I'm going to bring my camera out a little farther so that you could actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to make a few more of those clips. And they're only about a 1/4 inch apart, because it's sort of a tight corner to turn. And if you've got a more rounded corner to go around, you might not need as many clips or having them as close together. So that is a variable on this. I'm going to see if I can go around the corner all in one fell swoop, and if I can, hooray. But I don't know that it'll work. And you know, I don't think I'm going to get the best corner with that, but let's see. And I want to keep that edge of the zipper tape right against the edge of the fabric so that both corners match nicely. And you know what? I think I'm just going to go straight across. I'll play with it on my own, and if I get a good corner going continuously around it, I will post it and let you know. Okay, and I'm cutting that thread tail pretty close to the edge. Let me trim off this other thread tail at the other end. So we are around one corner, and now we're ready to round the bend on the second corner, just like this. And we're going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to raise the presser foot, get those zipper teeth into this, and I am really liking the narrower presser foot. I think this is a really good thing. Okay, so we're coming down to the end. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stitch as far as I can with and not go try to get around the zipper stop either. I'm going to stop in a few more, about another inch or so. Yeah, and now my presser foot is pushing against that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot out of the way. Get these little thread tails or fabric tails out. Chain off and cut my thread right next to the zipper. And let's take a look at what we have so far. We're halfway done with this. And I'm kind of glad I didn't try to turn that corner because I think it would end up being messy. So if I zip this up and go around, yeah, it's all doing, oh yeah. This is the look. This is much better than my practice one. Okay, so let's look at it under the close-up camera because even though you have to stop and start again, the name of the game in any sewing project or serging project is what's going to give me the best looking result. That is the key. Okay, so let's look at this. And I really do like this. Look at this so far. So we've got half of the zipper in. So you can, and it opens, it goes right around that corner. Opens perfectly, very nicely. The corners, the roundness of the corners match each other very nicely on this. And the beauty of doing this on your serger is that you've got a nice finished edge on the inside. Now, if you were lining this, that lining would have been on top of this right sides together. But I thought the more important thing today was to show you how to get the zipper and fabric oriented. But I say this in my classes when I do my tablet case. If you think of your zipper as the filling in a sandwich, think of your bag or cushion cover right side as the first piece of bread. This is your peanut butter and jelly. Then, let me just show you how it would look. Then your lining piece, but this is just a second piece of the fabric. The lining would go on top and you would do the exact same thing. You just would not see the zipper as you're stitching. And you would stitch with the lining side up. Why? So that the presser foot with that little channel or tunnel can feel the teeth. If you try to do it from the either foam or fleece side, the zipper foot, the piping foot won't be able to feel those zipper teeth as easily, and it may wander left or right without you realizing it. So always sew with either the zipper face up or the lining on top of it face up. And that's just so that that channel can feel those teeth. So, okay, so we've got one side done. Now, the question is, I've got a little bit more of that zipper that I didn't get stitched because I had my my zipper pulled open and it was down here. So what would I do? Now I could go back and just finish stitching that on, no muss or fuss, and get that all attached. So I'm going to do that and then we'll do the second side. Are there any, oh, so Pat says check the cable on my camera. No, everything is all plugged in tight. I don't see it flashing anymore. So something makes me think that maybe there was something going on. Maybe they're doing something with the cable on the street. They're always doing something. It never fails. All right. So what I'm going to do is I want to finish up this little part of the zipper. Okay, so I'm just going to put this under the foot and stitch it. And what I did on this was I did close the zipper up just to get the zipper pull out of the way. No big deal on that at all. So let me go back to my stitching and finish this up. Now, I do have both teeth in, and technically, will they fit? Yep, they will. And I'm just going to finish stitching that edge. Keep everything nice and even. Okay, so let me move this. I think that zipper stop. Let me see if I need to nudge it over. I think I'm going to have to pull it along. Okay. The zipper stop is wider, and that's why it was getting a little bit more hung up, but I think it'll be okay. I don't think I'll have a problem. So just real fast, let me make sure I can open this all the way to the end. Yes, I can. All right, so that didn't end up being a problem. So now it is fully inserted. Now let's do the second side of the zipper. And what I like to do on this, and people who've done the tablet case in in-person classes have heard me say this, I like to make sure everything is oriented correctly. And when I've done my tablet case, even though it's a straight edge and I've made a gazillion of them, if I don't check it with the zipper closed, I cannot tell you how many times I have twisted the zipper, which is really annoying. So I'm going to close up my zipper. I'm very proud of this. This is really looking very good. And this isn't even pressed. Also, could you top stitch this down on your sewing machine if you wanted to? Absolutely, yes. And that way the seam allowance will lay flat and it'll look nice too. It'll give you a little bit of contrast. Very easy to do that. That's not a big deal. Okay, so I've got it closed, and let me just go back to my table camera. All right, here we go. Now I'm going to put this on top just like this, and I'm good to go on that. I'm going to open this up again. And I'm doing the exact same thing that I did before. I want to make sure that my zipper edges match each other. Okay, so here's the top of this zipper. I want to make sure that this side matches as well so that I don't have a boo-boo where everything is skewed out of place. I'm going to grab a clip, which is not that. think I need longer fingers. Okay, so I am making sure, I think I'll close it up just to be absolutely 100% accurate. Get my corner out of the way. There we go. Okay. All right. So here we are closed. I'm going to put the other piece on top. Make sure my edges of my fabric are even with each other. And now I'm just going to move this over and get it aligned with this. And I'm going to put the clip in here just to hold it in place. I think I might even put no, I think I'll be okay. All right, so now I can open this up carefully. I don't want to knock the clip out of place. And I'm ready to start my second edge, okay? And on this one, I think I'm going to have to start actually on the opposite end of this so that it comes out, that I can get it oriented. So wait a minute. This is called live TV, folks, where you're thinking about this on camera. Hang on a second. All right. So I'm going to start it down at the bottom of the zipper. Let me just show you. Down here. Align my edges. Get my clip down here. And again, that is so that I can stitch with the zipper on top and the channel of the foot can feel it. So I'm gonna, I think, add a second clip for safety before I open it up. And actually this makes sure it's very accurate. The only thing that I have to make sure of is that the edges of my fabric match each other, and I'll be good to go on this. Now, before I go to the machine, let's make a few clips on this. And you can see that little line, that little weaving line that they have put in. I'm going to clip, 3, 4. I would say there's no such thing as too many clips. You don't want to clip so deeply, though, that you've got a hole in your zipper as you're stitching that's going to show. But you want enough to make it go around the corner nicely. And there we have it. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to open up the zipper. Move this clip a little bit back so I can get past it. Okay, good. All right, so here we go on that side. All right, press our foot up. Let's get this stuff out of the way. And now again, because my zipper pull is in the way, I am going to have to start up a little farther on the zipper. But that's not a problem because then I'll just go back and finish it. And I always say to students, there's no such thing as having too long a zipper on a straight insertion. Okay, I think we're ready to roll. Let me get this out there. Okay, and I can take this clip out, get stitching. Keeping my zipper edge right where I want it to be on the edge of the fabric. I'm going to stitch right off it again. Cut close. I'm going to clip off this one before I forget to do it. Okay, rounding the corner. Same thing as the other side. Get it under the presser foot, and because it's got that little bump, that little turn, and the teeth are kind of bunched up there, this is where I want my hump jumper to level my presser foot, and I'm putting it in sideways, not the way it's supposed to be, but it works. And make sure, if you do have one, make sure it's not going to bump into your upper looper either. Make sure it's far enough back. I'm past that. Okay. Down. And as you can see, I would be taking my time like this even if I wasn't on camera. All right, I need to make some more clips to go around this next corner, so I'm just stopping. So basically, it is a very similar way that you would do piping, going around the corner of a cushion or a pillow, whatever. So, and I'm going to keep this edge super close. Cut that thread nice and close. And I'm going to turn my last corner. And you want to keep everything nice and smooth. Make sure your fabric underneath is staying smooth so you don't get any little creases and pleats that are stitched into the fabric, because I guarantee you, you're not going to like the way it looks. Okay, and let me get over here, get my little hump jumper. And again, I'm using the thicker end of this because it's going over zipper teeth. All right. Get it out of the way. And if anyone has done this and has a different way of doing it that works very well, let me know. As I said, this is new to me as well. So I am all ears if somebody has a better, more efficient, smoother way of doing this. I love to learn too. But let's take a look and see what we have. I am going I hope I didn't twist it. I don't think I did. Let me make sure. Let me go back to me for a second. Did I twist it? I didn't think so. But one never knows on live camera what I've done. No, I didn't. Okay, I just had it. I didn't have it turned correctly. Let me cut off this thread tail. Yay! That would be embarrassing. But a learning opportunity, I think of it as. Okay, great. Okay, and then I would just have to finish up stitching that other end, but no big deal. Let's turn this right side out and see what we have. And I think it's really nice. I think it's a really nice result. Yes, it is. So for my viewer who wanted to see going around a corner with a zipper, now you know how to do it, and so does everybody else. Yes, okay, it's really good. I have a little thread that's pulling through here. Hang on. Get rid of that. And let's look at this under the close-up camera so you can see. Look at this. Really, really nice. Let me just poke out this corner a little bit more just so it's nice and smooth. But you can see the corners are exactly curved the same way. Here it is. Everything's on. The only thing now I would need to do is just go back, finish serging this edge, but that's no big deal. But you can see, and you could do this on a bag also if you wanted a larger opening. And then what you would do is right sides together, you just finish stitching the edges. But particularly for home dec and bigger projects, if you have to struggle to get a big cushion in or something like that, this is a great way to do it. And I'm really pretty happy with the way this came out. So are there any questions at all? Elizabeth says, what about the stitches missed around the corner? Won't that leave a small hole? Let's take a look and see. Let's take a look. Because, let's put it under the camera. No, it's not going to leave a small hole, but let me just show you what it looks like because that's a great question. So what I did was I went to the very end of the first edge and I started stitching at the edge of the second one. So there is a little bit more of a gap in here, but there is not a hole. And again, when you turn it, I think the edge of that compensates for it. And I personally, on something like this, to eliminate the chance of the edge of my zipper tape or anything else getting hung up, what I think I would do to finish this off, Elizabeth, is I would go to my sewing machine. I'd give this a press first, get it nice and flat and smooth, and then I would do a really nice top stitch around the edge of that. And that will eliminate, it's not open, there's not a hole because you can see the stitching lines match each other right here. But it will, it'll keep everything flat and smooth and eliminate the chance of the zipper tape flipping and getting caught in the teeth, and give it a very, very attractive, nice finish. So I'm pretty pleased with that from only my second time. I think that looks pretty good. Are there any other questions? I know I ran a little bit over time, sorry. But I thought it would be kind of fun to show. And I'm kind of excited about this because this is adding a new technique into my Serger repertoire too. So what I'll do is after I go off camera, I'm going to go over to my sewing machine, and I just happen to have the right color thread in, thank goodness. And I will top stitch that down, and we'll post a photo of it. And I think you're going to really like the way it looks. So, and again, I know I'm 7 minutes past 1 my time, but if you have an idea of something that you want to see done, can it be done? And how do I do it? Shoot me an email. I am always, always happy to get that. And I need those ideas. I want to show you what you want to learn. I am very open to that. Also, last week, Saturday, we had our first session of Edgy Edges, which was fun. We did 3-thread narrow stitches, and it was a very lively class. We had a lot of interaction. But if you still want to sign up for all 3 sessions, you will get the link for the recording on the first one. My second class is this Saturday from noon to 3:30 Eastern Time. And you always receive the recorded link approximately 24 hours. I would say absolutely no longer than 48 hours after the class. And as far as I know, I don't think it's ever been that long. But you will receive the recorded link. You have unlimited viewing access to those classes. You own the link. My only request is please don't share it with people who haven't paid for the class, because that's how all instructors earn a living if they do online classes. So, and that we just do that on the honor system, and I know 99.9% of you are very good about that, and I truly appreciate that. And I really admire everybody's ethics. So anyway, that's that. So part 2, part 3 is the week after on April 25th. But again, if you missed last week and you decide you want to join in, this Saturday we are going to be doing wide overlock stitches, not just 4th thread overlock. We'll be doing some flat locking and things like that. So we'll have some fun with that for edgy edges. And so I hope you can join us. And again, you can catch the first session, even though you weren't here for it live. We'll send you the recording link. So anyway, that's the end of my information on that. Thank you all for joining me. I love doing Serger Savvy. It's always fun to see people, and fun to have people from all over the world. That makes me so happy. But thank you. And also, I don't go back and look at the chat after the live is done. So if you do have a question about this or anything else, shoot me an email. My email is gail@gailpatrice.com, GAIL. So I am very open to your suggestions. I love hearing them, and thank you to the woman who asked for this technique. So I will see you the second Tuesday of the month of May. I will be home for that one. I think I have to take off right after that for an event, but I will see you for that, and I hope a lot of you are signed up for Edgy Edges, and if you are, I'll see you Saturday on Zoom. So thanks very much, and everybody have a great week. Take care, and I hope it's nice weather where you are too.